Hi, I'm Tanya Wilson-Cherry. I am a licensed cosmetologist for about 18 years now. I was a former platform artist. I travel from state to state, just showing other industry professionals the latest in hair trends and things that are going on in our industry. I later became an educator and I went to technical schools doing the same thing for students who were looking to enter into this particular profession. I recently gave a free class for salon owners about a year ago that ended up on YouTube. I had no idea that it would receive such great reviews, but I thought it only fair that I do the same for booth renters, salon employees, and technical school students. I looked at our industry, and over the last 9 years of having staff here, I kind of figured out what everybody seemed to be, well, not necessarily everybody, but most of the stylists who came in that didn't seem to propel forward fast. I kind of categorized what I felt may have been missing in their careers. And that is one of the reasons that I call this class Back to the Basics. Because I believe the basics is the foundation for which we propel forward. And when things like difficult times like economy come around, if we have those basic foundations in place, we tend to be able to stay afloat. So here are a few of the basic things that I feel are very, very important. They're critical, but a lot of times they're overlooked. And one of them is honor. When I think about honor, I think about it being more of a spiritual aspect of the career as opposed to technical. When we think technical, we're thinking haircuts and color, things of that nature as far as technical. But when we think spiritual, we think along other lines, like the emotions that we're putting into what we're actually doing. When I think about honor, it reminds me of when I worked at a company in Raleigh, and she would ask us to train like every Monday. Now, this was my day off, so I wasn't too happy, about coming in to do training classes on my day off. However, I never, gestured to her that I had a problem with it. I just kind of moved forward in it. I believe we trained at least every other week. Maybe about the third week into the training sessions, the owner stops me and asks me to come with her on the next Monday to an event. I asked no questions. I wore what she wanted me to wear. When we got there, she said, "You're going to go on stage and you're going to do her hair and tell the audience what you've done." Unbeknownst to me, what she was asking me to do was platform work. That is how my career as a platform artist actually began, through a system of honor. I believe that a lot of people in this industry now, they're missing that, when they're in the workplace. If the person that you're working for is asking you to do something and it's not immoral, it is your responsibility to adhere to that. When you go to a job and you sign on, most of the time they tell you the rules before you even start. But it seems like once they come in, everybody has a problem with simple things like sweeping the floor, or not talking on their cell phone while working. All of these are things that you've agreed to prior to working there. Rules may change as it goes along, and if you continue to work there, then you should be still adhering to those rules. So I think the honor system is not being met in the means that it needs to. Not only, I used to think it was just in this new generation, but I've had people to work with me who were 50 years old, and they still don't seem to understand the honor system and respecting the authority figures that they're working for. So I think that is one of the problems that we see, in this particular field, as far as a basic foundation that's not being met. I was going to take a class and a pre-course through Pitt Community College, and a guy by the name of William Flood had this awesome diagram of what is a tangible way to explain pretty much how I feel about the basic things that are missing within our career. And it's like a triangle, and it's broken down into 4 parts, and at the bottom is at the bottom of the triangle is your attitude. And believe it or not, that's the largest section of the triangle. The next is your knowledge, and then your skill, and then at the very top there's a small triangle that says success. And so many of us skip the first 2 at least. We have a lot of skilled stylists in the industry or makeup artists, And what they tend to do is they tend to perfect their skill and they miss the part about their attitude or their knowledge. Your attitude can be how you act when asked to do something, or the way that you speak to your clients. Attitude is so important. It's not a trivial, I think we think it's a trivial piece, but it's actually the largest piece to the pyramid of success. If your attitude is not where it should be as far as moving forward in your career, then you may miss opportunities because you didn't have the attitude to go forward with that particular job. Your knowledge. It's important that we're educated, on what we're doing. Continue to read and go to classes. And one of the things that I think, especially in the hair industry, because we're service-oriented people and we're basically dealing with a craft, I think when we go to classes, they're normally about just how to perform the technical things like the actual hair. But you could try going to motivational classes. A lot of times when we receive burnout in this particular industry, it's not because we forgot how to do the haircut. It's usually something spiritual that's going on or emotionally with us that's causing the burnout. We're tired or exhausted, and we need another form of motivation to move forward. We usually don't forget the skill. It's usually based on emotions and your particular attitude. So I wanted to give William credit for actually giving me a tangible example to present to you all that you can have even in your mind later, so that you can start to concentrate more on your attitude or what you're actually learning, as opposed to just simply focusing on the skill set for what you're doing. Another thing that I feel that is missing is our passion, for what we're doing. Your passion drives your energy, and these can be used interchangeably, your energy and your passion. If you're passionate about something, you usually move forward faster on it. If it's something that you're not really feeling or not really into, you tend to drag or not be as responsible for that particular task at hand. And ways of gaining passion for things are to continue to go to classes, be educated, be around other industry professionals and get ideas and things that will help you move forward, and to help you also in areas of burnout. Your passion needs to be fueled. And one of the major things that I think is missing is our vision. Some of us really don't have a clear vision of where we're headed. We're kind of just behind the chair and just kind of doing hair, and sometimes wondering, is this going to be what I do for the rest of my life? And I think that, this also causes us to be all over the place in our careers, maybe doing things that only because we're trying things, and then we end up exerting energy into areas that actually, have nothing to do with what our actual vision is. So I think it's important that you get really, really clear on your vision. Fortunately for me, I guess my steps are ordered because I really had no idea where my vision was when I first started in hair. I think I kind of just started. But one of the things that I think happened for me is I had the basic foundations. My attitude was in place, and I had a desire to learn. And so then came the skill set, and then my passion for what particular area in the industry that I wanted to do kind of fell in line. But I think a lot of us are just really unclear about what we want to do. And some of that is because we don't know what our options are. So most people do hair and they feel like they'll either just be behind the chair or maybe become a salon owner. But there are so many other positions that we could take in this particular industry. And those are some of the more technical things. I think that, we are, what would the word be, fabulous as far as skill. But if we're not monopolizing those other things that equate the pyramid of success, like our attitude and our knowledge, we tend to just be ghetto fabulous. And when I say ghetto fabulous, there's a definition for ghetto that means isolated. And the word isolated group or sector. And the word isolated is important because if we don't find a balance for how we are as industry professionals, then we tend to isolate the number of people that we can actually service, because only a certain number of people really can tolerate, our attitude or our untimeliness, or the fact that we're just doing the skill work and we have no idea as far as, a lot of clients tend to ask questions. How can they take care of their hair at home? Could you answer those things? Would you be able to help them? And I think we're afraid too to help them, as if they won't come back. But actually, they just want to keep up what we're doing when they're gone. So if we're not knowledgeable about those things, it's kind of hard to share that information. Another thing, be knowledgeable about the products that you're using. Some people are allergic to things. Are we finding out, are we really sitting down and consulting, with the client? And those are some of that's more of the spiritual side of it, because this is where you also have the opportunity to connect with your client. There is a connection that happens or transpires with hairstylists and their clients. I have clients who've been coming to me for maybe 13, 14 years now or more, and I understand that we formed a relationship, and it's basically because I ask them questions. I ask them what they need and how can I better service them. It's not just about, I'm getting ready to do her hair really fly, and who cares once she leaves out of the door. You have to bond and form relationships, and that starts with proper consultations during your visit with the person that you're servicing. Now we'll get into the more technical side of hair or the beauty industry. Because like I said before, there's a technical side and a spiritual side, and some of the technical things are actually building a clientele, marketing, and networking. I feel in building a clientele, the first thing, again, that is important is your attitude. I've had staff members to come, and the first month, they're gung-ho and they're at it, and if it gets a little slow, they tend to lose, their passion. And what really happened is their attitude about the situation changed. And the next thing for building a clientele is your availability. And I've also seen this happen on several occasions. They're here and they're ready to go to work, and then after a while, they kind of drag in. They come half day. They're here for 4 hours. What we have to realize is, especially if we're new to the industry or we're just coming out of school, nobody knows you. So it's not like they are hunting around for you and really willing to work around your schedule. There are thousands of other hairstylists who could service them. So when you're first coming out of school or you're entering into the salon industry or beauty industry for that matter, it's important that you're available. I've seen, numerous of times where staff members miss out on new clients because they just weren't here. And it's funny because then they'll leave and maybe say that, they were slow. And in actuality, they just weren't available for the clients that were coming in. We never know what time they're going to come. It's not like we have this automatic clock that says, okay, they're going to call you at 2 o'clock, so if you don't go in until 2, you'll be good. No, we need to be, available when we're building a clientele. Another thing I feel is marketing. One of the ways that you market yourself, the first and most tried and true way is based on referrals. And if you're not doing any customers, then you don't have anyone to refer you. This is one of the things that I did early on when I was trying to build a clientele. I looked at it like this. I said, well, if I'm not busy and I'm not doing a client, what harm is it going to do a free service? You're busy. Now this is a person who can also tell someone about your work. You have a walking advertisement at that time. One of the things that you can do for building your clientele is to get your hair done free cards. I know it sounds, a little off the wall, but you're only losing a few ounces of shampoo, not even a few ounces, a few drops of shampoo and your time. And if you're not doing anything anyway, then you're at least producing a customer who can, a walking advertisement, who could refer someone else to you. I also think that, the free thing is just, we live in a land of reaping and sowing. And so everything that you put in, it has to reap a harvest. I know when I was doing the come get your hair done free cards, I would give out 1 to 5 of those a week. Now take in mind, they're not all going to come at the same time. So don't get scared and think that you're going to only be doing free hair all week long. Don't put a time limit on when they can come, and don't put a day on it. Don't put a lot of restrictions on it. because then it starts to feel more like a catch. You just say, hi, I'd like to give you an opportunity to be serviced by me, and your service is on me. So giving out the free cards is great. And those clients actually tell more people than the paid clients because they're shocked, one, that it's free and you did a really good job. So this form of sowing into your business is one that reaps a great harvest. Also, networking is one of the technical areas for building clientele. If you know a makeup artist and you're a hairstylist, network with her. It's a possibility that you all could give one another gift cards that you can give the customer. Say, for instance, if Dorvetta Taft does makeup, then I give her $100 worth of gift certificates that she gives her customers. Maybe they're in $10 to $15 to $20 intervals. And every time she does a customer, or if she's doing a promotional, she can say, well, come and have your face made up and also receive a $20 gift certificate to Tanya Wilson-Cherry at Abstract. And I would do the opposite for her. So that's one form of networking that you can do within the industry. Also, there are several different career choices that we can make within this industry. A booth renter is one of them. And a lot of people aren't particularly clear on how a booth renter actually operates. You work for yourself. I've seen this on several occasions where, the booth renter is still actually hoping to have all of their clients given to them by the salon owner. But what you're doing is you're renting a space. You can have your own business name at that space. You're working for yourself. Another thing that you can do as a booth renter, you can also have a website. I think that there's a fear behind getting a website as a booth renter because they don't understand that they actually are an entity within themselves. So you would market just the way any other business would market. Then there's and with the booth renter, you are not required to be in the building or at work at a specific time. You set your own time. You also keep your own money. Your money comes directly to you as a booth renter. And in turn, you are responsible for your own taxes. Now, this does not mean that you don't adhere to some of the things that the salon requires. There are still some stipulations to how you conduct your business within that building. They may have a few things that you adhere to that you sign in your contract before becoming a booth renter. Also, there's the salon employee. Salon employee is someone who actually works for the company. They may be asked to wear a certain color or attire. They work specific hours. And normally the money comes to the front desk or the salon, and then they're paid by check, and taxes are already taken out for them. And sometimes they work by hour or either by commission. So those are two things, the two main things that people normally hear about when they work in a salon setting. But there are other things you can do. One of them is a freelance artist. And what a freelance artist is someone who goes to local events or movie sets or videos. They're contracted out to actually perform their service, whether it's hair or makeup, in those particular settings. They work for themselves. They're usually given a 1099 from whoever has hired them to come out for that particular situation. You need a valid work experience if you're going to be a freelance artist. I think it's great to start off at a salon or in a setting with someone else when becoming a freelance artist, because this gives you a basic foundation or some type of referral system or experience for your actual freelance work. Another thing I think that is a must if you're planning on doing freelance work is a portfolio. And that's when we get into some of the marketing pieces that we can use within the industry. But a portfolio is very important if you're planning to be a freelance artist. And my girlfriend, Wanda Barrett, is actually a freelance artist. She's from Greenville, North Carolina, but she now lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She's done television personalities, radio show personalities. She's worked with stars, and this is something that she does in addition to the salon that she works at. She works at Your Salon, Paragon, in Atlanta, but on the side she does freelance work, and freelance work has a median of like 6 figures that freelance artists make in the industry. So that's another area that you could think about other than just behind the chair if you're in the beauty industry. As far as professional photos, that is one of the marketing pieces that I spoke about as far as the portfolio is concerned for a freelance artist, but it's also important as just an employee or a booth renter that you have professional photos. They speak volumes about the work that you've done. They give a little swag to your work. One of the things that I've seen is people who have professional photos, they tend to have 25 different models. What a company normally is looking for, especially on a movie or TV set, they're looking to see if you have skill to do a variation on the same model. So when performing your portfolio, what you actually need is pictures, maybe 3 pictures of the same girl that you've changed her hair out 2 to 3 different times. Because if you're on the set, you're not working with, you may be working with 25 different people, but you'll be working with other artists, and you may have this one girl that is your task, and you need to change her look for each scene. So your portfolio should actually show that you have the ability to do that. Partnering, networking, and this is also under marketing, and partnering with other businesses. Before I mentioned partnering with other industry professionals, you can actually partner with other local businesses within your community. One of the businesses that I now partner with, well, I have been for quite some time, is My Sister's Closet. It is an arm to a nonprofit organization called for domestic violence. But what My Sister's Closet is, it's a thrift store, and all of the money and the proceeds go back to the nonprofit organization. And whenever I have a fashion show or I'm participating in a fashion show or any other local event, I use My Sister's Closet's clothing, and I give them the advertisement. And in turn, they send us people all the time. They allow us to put our advertisements in their business, and it's just another form of network marketing that we have. So it's important that you also are connecting with local businesses. Another thing, bridal shows. Some people don't think about it, but I think it's a great plug for you to get connected with, and actually maybe as a vendor, go in and set up a professional looking booth that has all of your information. Maybe during the event, you could actually be performing a service, like if you're a makeup artist, you could have faces that you're making up for that particular event. But every bride needs their hair done, and so does her bridal party. They all need their hair done or manicures. So you got to really start doing some thinking and get connected with the community. And the more that people hear about you, the more referrals you'll get. But you don't get referrals unless you've met those basic foundations, because these people are definitely expecting for your attitude to be in place and for you to have an understanding and knowledge of what it is that you're delivering. Let's see. Education. Research your field. Google is there. The internet is there. We're on it all the time now. That's if you can't get away to make it to classes outside of your city or town as often as you feel you need the information, get online and Google it. The information is there now, but you should be knowledgeable about whatever field of expertise you have within the beauty industry or any industry for that matter. There are other things you can do, like nursing homes. I met a young lady who actually does cranial prosthesis, which is like front lace for cancer patients. And, that's another opportunity that you could take advantage of within this industry as a licensed cosmetologist. Platform artist, again, as I said before, is another alternative for you, or an educator. I actually kind of just fell into this thing. I love, the education side of it, and I realized that everything that I did before connected me to what my vision is for my personal life now as an educator. Think outside the box. We've been so connected to just standing behind the chair that we tend to just kind of stay there in our thinking within the industry. One of the things I shared with class before was, whenever we have slow times, don't look at them as slow times. Look at them as, the universe allowing us time to actually plan out, our next move. A lot of times if we're not super busy behind a chair, we get discouraged, but change our thinking, renew your mind to see that those slow times are times for you to have opportunities to write things down and plan out your career and keep a clear vision. Stay connected to your vision. I said this in my last class. I'll probably say it in every class that I teach from this point on, because without the vision, we perish. If we don't have a clear vision on where we're headed, we tend to be either all over the place or we tend to lose focus on everything. So just remember that this is not only technical, which is learning the basic skill set for what we're doing, but it is spiritual. We should consider whether or not we are honoring the authority figures that we're working with. We should check our attitude, and we should keep our passion built up through classes and education and motivation, and always focus on keeping your vision clear. But they're very, very critical. So we should just get really focused on the spiritual side of our career, as well as the skill set that we offer, to have a balance, and so we can go to the top of that pyramid where success is available. Enjoyed you. Hope you guys learned a lot, and I look forward to seeing you soon.